Hello, everybody. I had been trying to do these when the holdings had already been posted, so you could see the updated information and the nav and everything. However, I've been waiting an hour and a half, and they still haven't been posted for tomorrow, so I can only assume at this point that that's not going to happen tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the video, go through our trades. I'm just going to, I'll show the prices over here. I don't want to show the prices on the holdings because then it has the old nav on it, and I don't want to get anybody confused there. So I'm just going to go through here. There's really not a lot of trades here, so a lot of this may be just review. There are a few different things that I had went over many hours ago and highlighted just to make sure I pointed out. But as you can see here for AIYY, we didn't have any trades for today. It did end up closing at 17.40, and then AI ended up closing at $28.90. And I believe AI had started somewhere about $26 today. It actually went up quite a bit throughout the day. But just as a reminder that our weekly call strike price is at $31, and then we have our synthetics there at $30. We're going to move on to AMDY. You can see here, AMDY, all they did here was just add to the positions that they already had. So you see we have 85 contracts. They have the synthetic is the first two lines of the 180 strike. And then we have the 182.50 weekly call on the third line. And that one we already had. It's just adding additional contracts. So we have here AMDY closed at 22.19 today. AMD was at 176.01. And then our total trades over here we ended up bringing in $36,000 there. And then you can see here the strike prices that we already have, but we also have that 185 strike price there as well. So the one thing I didn't take into account is how far off we are from our strike prices. So up here on AIYY, it looks like we're about $2 from our strike price. On AMD, since we're at 176, it looks like we're about $6.50 from our first strike price. I said $6.15, so $7, $8, $9 from our second strike price there. But we will move on down to AMZ. So you can see here we just have they just added to one of the weekly calls the strike price of $177.50 for 100 contracts there. AMZ closed at 23.07 today. Amazon closed at 174.73, and today's trades cost us $14,000. So we're at 174, and we're talking about Amazon. So we have 175 strike price. So like we're just a few cents away from that. And then we have the 177.50 strike price there. So that means we're about $2.50 away from that one. And then we have our synthetics still at our 160 price. So we will move back over. And you see here we don't have any trades for Apple. Our close price for Apple today was $18.10. Apple itself was at $181.16. I do believe we were down today. So let's look over here. So it looks like we're almost $4 away from that strike price. Look at our weekly call right here being 185 there. That strike price anyway. So if we go over to Coney, we didn't have any trades. But Coney itself, it it closed at 23.66. Coin closed at 193.94. However, I think I saw coin up to about 199 today at some point. But if we look over here for Coney, our strike prices for our weekly calls are 177.50 and 185. So unless they didn't post their trades, and I've waited till the end, as late as possible here to make sure there's nothing else uploaded. There has been an instance where I've copied them and saved them, not since I've been doing this, but then, and then come to find out later, they did have trades on one of them that they uploaded after the fact. So, in these, I have to be careful because just because some got uploaded doesn't mean all of them were uploaded. But usually at the end of the night, we're all pretty good. But according to this, unless somebody just forgot to do something, there were no trades, so I'm not sure. I guess they're just going to wait it out this week and see how things go. But moving on to Dizzo, it closed at 21.75 today. Disney was at 107.68. We had no trades. A reminder over here, our weekly strike prices are 109 and 110. So we are a couple of dollars from that first one there. Let's say, like $1, $1.32, and then $2.32 from the other one. So if we go on the Meta, again, no trades. Phoebe FBY closed at 23.43. Meta closed at 481.74. Now if we go over to the strike prices, we had 500 and 505. So we are roughly $18 from that first strike price. So not too bad, at least as of right now. If we look at GUI, Google didn't have such a great day today, so I know we went down on those. And GUI we're at 16.52, and Google closed at 137.57. You see we have no trades showing there, and our strike prices were 146 and 147. So if we go back over 146, so we're roughly about $8 away from there. JPMO, I show here that there are no trades. JPMO closed at 20.98. JPM closed at 183.36. And our weekly strike price is 185 and 187.50. So it looks like we got 183. So we're less than $2 from that first strike price right there. And I just wanted to point out, I did screenshot them, but I can go back here. This is the one that I was talking about yesterday, that they did, and how this ended up basically doubling here on these shares. They only had this one line, and it should have been, this is the one that also showed the trades being messed up on it here with the wrong code, and how these should have been both closed out. Instead, that one ended up showing as one of them was closed, but then one doubled. And I mentioned that, if it still showed on today's, that I would contact them and let them know. Well, as I was going through this, and they still, again, haven't posted the 27th, but I did notice this, that this line is still there like it was yesterday, but now it is, the formula's pulling over, so I guess they updated their file, but it shows 0 shares listed on there. So my guess is, they fixed this price so that market value in shares isn't there. So when they update this with the holdings, with the 27th date, which I'm going to guess is going to be first thing in the morning, this line should be gone. And then this should start looking normal again. But sorry, I wanted to point that out. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had there. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure I went over that there. So we have MRNY, no trades showing. The close price today was $19.70. This did end up going back up some, which I didn't notice until the afternoon time frame. But it looked like it was steadily going up most of the day. So Murney closed at 1970. Moderna closed at 94.02. We have no trades, and to remind us of our strike prices, our weekly strike price is $100 there, so we're still $6 away from that. MSFO, no trades showing. MSFO closed at 22.45. MSFT closed at 407.54. And our strike price, our weekly strike price was $417.50. So we are about $10 from there. It's pretty easy. Okay, so if we go on to Misty here, and I didn't notice this yesterday, and y'all might have noticed it, but if you remember correctly, remember this right here wasn't summing the data properly. It turns out it's because where I had inserted these new lines, I didn't have the formulas here correctly, so they were still pulling in Nephle versus Misty. So that's why my formula wasn't pulling in those numbers. But I have fixed that, and we're good to go there. So here for the synthetic, they just added the 13 contracts to that 680 strike price that we already had. And then here highlighted in yellow, we have a new weekly strike price of $8.95 that will expire on Friday. So the sum of these trades show that they cost the fund 128.5K there. And so Misty closed at 22.49 today, and MSTR closed at $796.48. So if we're looking at this call here, we're about $98 away from that one. If we look at the call we had previously, which was, looks like we were at 755. Wow. So we went over that one by, make sure I'm not losing my mind here. That's the only one we have for Misty. 755, and we close at 796. It's $40. I did hear today about they were talking about how MicroStrategy bought a whole bunch more Bitcoin, and that the plan was to keep buying, and they don't plan on selling any, I guess, because of the halving and everything. But I didn't go in depth into the story. It was just what I was hearing in my podcast and headphones today while I was at work in the office. But we will see. So that was 13 contracts there. Other one we're at 37 contracts. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. If we move on to Nephle, you see here we had some trades. All they did was add to the synthetic and their weekly call. Looks like there was 15 contracts only, so not much. And looking over here, those trades only cost about $4,000. And Nephle closed at 1862, and Netflix closed at 587.65. And if we look over here, we had our weekly call strike prices at $595 and $600 there. So roughly $8 from that first strike price. and I guess about 12 from the second one there. So if we move on down to NVIDIA, the first two lines, they're adding the 105 contracts to the synthetic call put with strike price of $710, and then they opened up a new weekly call with a new strike price of $825. So it looks like NVIDIA closed today there at $790.92. And we had 810, which was only 25 contracts, and we had 835 there. So 810, 835, and now we just opened up at 825. So 810, 825, and 835, and we are currently at 790. So we are $30 away. I don't know about all this public math and this late and this tired. I don't know. I think I just said 30, and if I did, I didn't mean to, because that's 810 and that's 790, so that's $20 away. So sorry if I misspoke there. And these trades today ended up costing $850,000 there. It ended up costing $973K to buy. I guess it makes sense, that synthetic call with that strike price of a 710. It ended up costing $96.66 a share. But anyway, that could be normal. I haven't been following these really that long to know, but if we look here, it's pretty significant. I think yesterday it was at $28, and today NVIDIA's closing at $29.09. We move on to OARC. No trade showing. In fact, if I keep scrolling down, we have no trade showing for the rest of these for today. So we'll just briefly go over the end of day trades, or end of day stock prices, and just a refresher on what our strike prices were. So OARC, we're at $13.29. ARC itself was at $50.08. And if we go over here, ARC for a weekly call was $50.50. So we are only 42 cents away from that one, from that strike. If we go on to PayPay, it closed at $18.26 today, and PayPal closed at $59.33. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Now I gotta figure out where I was. I'm sorry. I don't know. Oh, it's probably gotta refresh everything. Sorry, I don't mean to be doing all this scrolling. If it makes you sick, it makes me sick too. Oh, look at that. It's refreshed. I can tell here because if you look over here now, it has the updated date. So they have now have that data posted. So I actually can scroll out, and I won't have to go back over to that page now, because the left side will have the updated data with the updated nav and everything. So we'll just go down through here. So ARC, we have closed at $13.29. Oh, and I already said this, sorry. Yep, I went through ARC already. We were on PayPay. So it had closed at $59.33, and our weekly strike price is $61. So we're $1.67 from that strike price. And if we move on down, and I unhighlighted these, but I guess it's on the main tab. Nope. I guess I unhighlighted them on this tab and not the main one. Sorry, I should just stay on the other one because I was already there. So SQY, it ended up closing at $22.33. I do know that stock price went down today. even though it was up for last week due to earnings, or Thursday after hours and Friday. But SQ ended up closing at 74.66, and our strike price for this week is 84. So we are $9.34 from that. Then we have Tesla. Yeah, it's priced because remember we had the reverse split today. So now instead of it being like $9.26, we're at $18.53 here. And Tesla is closed at $199.40. However, it might have started somewhere around 196 today. I can't remember where it opened, but I do know it did go all the way up to about 202 today at some point, but it mainly stayed in the range of 198 to 200. But it did try to break out, but it didn't make it, which is actually good for us because we're at a $200 strike price, so it's good for Tesla. Let's see. So our difference at the close was 60 cents there. And then we still have our two synthetics over there on the right. But we'll move on to Zomo. And of course, the price was $17.55. Exxon itself ended at $104.25. Strike price is $103. So of course we're maxed out there. Is it the only strike price that we have? Nothing new there. And then we have our YMAG that closed at $20.51, and our YMAX that closed at $20.98. So sorry for the delay on getting this out. We did quickly go through all of those, and I do appreciate those of you that have liked the videos. I know most people aren't liking them, but it is nice to see some of the likes out there versus dislikes. I know some people may not like this because this is for one thing and one thing only, right? Is if you're wanting to get down into the weeds on the actual trades, what's happening on the trades and showing the holdings in this. So this is like very specific. So this has to be something that you actually want to look at. So I understand some of the dislikes, though I may not like it, but it's all good. It's no big deal. I'm just doing this to try to help myself learn, and then for others to view as well. And I did have one person say happy birthday to my daughter, and I appreciate that. I did let her know that was a Gen Z investor, so I appreciate that. She did turn 13 today, so officially have my youngest daughter in the teens now. My other three daughters, they're all grown. But yeah, it was a nice little day, nice little cake this evening. But I appreciate the happy birthday shout out, and I did show her and let her know. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Again, sorry for the delay, everybody. Hopefully this was helpful and not as long as it was with the weekend or the Friday trades. But everybody, have a good day tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.